Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I'm going to be doing a bullet journal update video. Last Vlogmas I did a video talking about how I bullet journal, and I will link to that in case you guys are interested in seeing that. This is going to be an update video because I got a new notebook and I changed a couple of things about how I bullet journal basically. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do like a flip through of my bullet journal to show you what I've done. My process hasn't really changed too much in like the past 6 months, so I'll just show you the way my bullet journaling has evolved over the last couple of months. This journal is the lectern, I know I'm mispronouncing that. And I had said in my last video that I wanted to get one of these, and I got one. I think ordered it in late December, but it didn't get to me until January, so I didn't start using it until February. Also, I'm going to leave a link down below to the original bullet journal video in case you guys have no idea what bullet journaling is, so you guys can find out all about it. I won't be going through like the process or anything like that because you can figure that out on your own time. So when you open it up, there's a space to put your name. I never did. These come with a table of contents, so you can see definitely did not go through and refill in my table of contents. I think after this point I realized I don't really need to number my pages because there weren't any new spreads I really needed to reference that I wouldn't already reference in with my like bookmarks and things like that. And then on the first page I put my 2016 reading goals. This is the post-it note that I put in my old Moleskine journal, and so I just transferred it over here. I just liked how this part looked. So yeah, I will be making an entire video about my 2016 goals, so that's just how I put it in the first page. And the next page I made a thing for the Read Harder challenge. This is definitely not updated. Usually I went through at the end of every month and updated it for the challenges I completed. So what I did is at the beginning of the year, I basically like counted out the lines, and I figured out like if I had this many lines and there's 24 challenges, and you know, I just divided it up properly so that way I would have 1 line for the challenge and then 2 lines for the book name and the author name. I also, about halfway through the year, I created this little bar graph thing down here so I would know exactly how many of the challenges I did, because I would go through and like count by hand every single time because I would always forget, and that got kind of annoying. So I just created this little bar chart down here, and as I read one of the tasks I would fill it in with a pencil. Alright, here I have my monthly spread, or at least the first version of my monthly spread. I had a version of this in my other journal, and I wanted to create a big monthly calendar like this in my new journal, but when I did it this month for February I realized I really didn't like how it looked. The boxes were too big, and I didn't like that Wednesday was right here on this theme, because Monday, Wednesday, Fridays is basically when I do my videos, and that's mainly what I use this monthly spread for. And I tried to like keep track of other things, and it just didn't really work very well, so I ended up adjusting that. This is something I really liked. It's basically like a time tracker spread. You can use this however you want. I used it to sort of basically keep time for my freelance stuff that pays me hourly. And then here I have a list of YouTube ideas, which again is outdated. I'm pretty sure I've made all of these, and most of these ended up becoming book write videos as opposed to my own channel videos, but I put a little clippy thing here so that way I would always have access to it. And this was my first daily spread thing. I wanted to experiment a little bit with how I did my dailies. So there's this planner called the Day Designer that I really like. I'm going to be doing an entire video on a Day Designer because I ended up getting one. This runs from February through November, or February through October, and then I found the Day Designer and decided to use it for November and December, and while I like it, I will be going back to the bullet journal in January, but that's a whole side note. So anyways, I like how they have the Day Designer set up, because they would have each page as a day, as opposed to most planners they do like a whole week across a spread. So they have an area that's just time and an area that's just for tasks. And since I just bought this, I wanted to play around with how I did my setup, so I decided to basically just copy the whole thing. So I made a whole time tracker here where I could put what I'm doing with my time, and then I would put all of my tasks here. Like I said in my last video, I color code my tasks so that way just visually for me it works really well. What I didn't like this is that there would be days like this that are so empty, and I would not fill up an entire page, but I would have to use an entire page because that's the way the time is set up. But I just felt like this was just really wasteful. And then I would have days like this where it just wasn't like filling up the pages the way I like. I like to fill up as much of the page as possible. So I knew I had to change something about the way this was going to get done. Oh, I didn't fill this out. This is my debt-free thermometer. I ended up becoming debt-free this year, which is very exciting. And so one day when I was bored at work, I just made myself a thermometer, and I would fill it in every month with how far I had gone, so I should probably fill this in to the top so I just have that. So let me jump ahead to when things change a little bit. Oh yeah, this is something I try to do because on like Thursday, Friday, my tests are usually lower than Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And so what I would do is I would do like Monday and Tuesday would get its own day. And then Wednesday would have a day of tests and I would do Wednesday's hours, Thursday's hours, Friday's hours sort of thing. And then this is weekend stuff. So I would do Saturday, Sunday, and then the tests down here. I did Monday and Tuesday's tests basically, and then Monday's hours, Tuesday's hours, but I didn't really like how this worked out. Okay, so this is the first time I tried something a little bit different. I did a whole week of hours over here, and then I put all my tasks over here. And this is basically the method that I ended up utilizing for the rest of my bullet journal. So every Monday, the first like half an hour of my workday, I would draw this out. It goes from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., which is more than enough hours for me. And then because it goes like through the 8 p.m. hour. So by 9 p.m. I should probably be stopping what I'm doing. So I would draw this out. I would fill out any like calls or meetings or things that I know I have going on. And then on Monday, I would just start and do a brain dump of all the things I know I need to do. And then as the days of the week went on, I would just add more tasks to the bottom. And then here I did a weekend to do. So this was, I found to be like the most helpful. You'll see I kept going with this. What I started to realize is that I didn't like just having the running list because it started to get a little bit confusing, especially if, like I got to like down here and there were still tasks up here that I needed to complete. Oh, and then here is my first month where I did sort of this monthly spread where I have the month calendar. I ended up liking this a lot better. It's smaller, but I realize I'm fine with this size because mostly what I'm doing is I'm keeping track of the videos that I create. Yeah, I just needed a little bit of space. So I really like this, and then I have the tracker here for the month for my freelance stuff. So that is basically what I ended up doing from this month out. So here's the first daily spread where I realized that I should really just break up my tasks. So I would do like a brain dump on Monday, but then on Tuesday I would start a new thing with new tasks, and on Wednesdays I would start a new thing with new tasks. And basically what I did is I would keep a running list, and sometimes I would move things down if I needed to, and I would just do the forward arrow like you're supposed to do with bullet journal and move things down to the bottom. So if something by Thursday hadn't gotten completed, I would do the forward arrow and move it down. Not that big of a deal. Even here you could see like on Thursday I wanted to do captions for my Friday video, and I ended up moving it over. The next step, it's, you know, totally flexible onto what I needed, and I was really liking it. As you can see here, this was obviously not a busy week for me, but what I started to notice is that my weekends, I wasn't really using this space very well because my weekends are a little bit looser. They're not like super jam-packed. I usually just have like one thing going on one day, and I have like church every morning and stuff like that. That's always the same. So I didn't really need the time tracker for my weekends. So I adjusted, and what I did is I just did Monday through Friday with the time specific stuff, and I made like a weekly to do. This was really great for me because every week there's certain things I have to do. I have to work on all the Book Riot videos, I have to work on my videos, and then I would also just write down other things I knew were coming up later on in the week. And so I would always just like refer to this when I was like doing my everyday stuff. So if I knew I had something on Wednesday, I would be like Wednesday call, and then when I got to Wednesday I would see that and I would put that as one of my tasks to do. And so this is basically what my system boiled down to in the end. Apologize for the food stains. I would put down like the main tasks. So like for Book Riot, I have to make sure I post the Tuesday video. And then for the Tuesday video, I have to do the info in the description, and I have to do specific things and make a post and do the caption. So I would write down the specific steps I need to take here. But this was just like a broad overview. Or I would write down like the names of specific projects I had to be working on this week. And then here I would write down the specific tasks I had to do for each project. This is what my bullet journal turned into, and it works really, really well. The only problem, obviously, that always exists with bullet journaling is that it's really hard to forwardcast. This helped a little bit. I usually don't think like farther than a week in advance, so I feel like that really works well for me. Also, if I have like a really busy week, sometimes this area gets really full. Sometimes I do wish I had the weekend stuff, but you know, I can make it work, or I can use another page if I really need to. Yeah, like here, I had like a really busy weekend, and so I needed to figure out what I was going to do on each day, and so I wrote down Saturday. Like I wrote down my big weekend to do, and then on Saturday I wrote down what I was specifically going to do on Saturday, what I was specifically going to do on Sunday. So yeah, that is my basic bullet journal update. Like I said, I have a day designer, which I will be showing you in another video this week, probably tomorrow. And I'll be showing you the layout of that and how I like it, and how I don't like it. In the end, I'm going to be going back to the bullet journaling system in January, like I said, because I just like the flexibility of this and the fact that you can customize it so it can be exactly what you want and what you need. Leave a comment down below letting me know if you guys are bullet journaling at all. I know a bunch of you guys started doing it after my video last time, which is really cool and crazy. So yeah, let me know if you are still doing it, if you have like implemented any of the things I've said, or have any questions or anything about any of the systems that I've started. So yeah, that's all I have for now, and thanks for watching.